Now at 9, the Joplin City Council considers a nearly $9 million splash pad contract.
In Carl Junction, drivers continue to fly by school bus stop arms. I'm Kenny Foreman, and I'll tell you the latest on that coming up.
As the nation rallies together to honor Charlie Kirk's life and legacy, social media companies are feeling pressure. I'm Madison Allworth with Fox Business. I'll explain why coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The Joplin City Council fails to approve an emergency ordinance for a nearly $9 million contract for the Ewart Splash Park project. This is KOAM News at 9. I'm Tanya Bach. Council members were considering a deal with Branco Enterprises to transform the old Ewart Aquatic Center into a modern splash park. It's a project that's been in the works for more than 4 years. In August of 2024, Branco was selected to begin the pre-construction phase of the project. The proposed Ewart Splash Park will include several water features, a new playground with a turf playground surface, an ice ribbon for winter skating, a new bathhouse, and an amphitheater. Voters overwhelmingly approved funding for the project through the Parks and Stormwater Sales Tax renewal in 2021. However, plans for the project went over budget, and additional funding had to come from the Joplin Use Tax Beautification Fund. Now, this was a point of contention for some of the council members tonight. They voted 5 in favor and 2 against, with 2 absent, which is not enough to pass an emergency ordinance. The issue will return to the table at the next meeting to be considered again, this time for first reading. Well, driving violations are piling up in Carl Junction just weeks into the school year. The Carl Junction School District has seen an unusual uptick in the amount of drivers committing stop arm violations when passing school buses. KOAM's Kenny Foreman has the latest.
At Carl Junction School District, student safety is a priority. For those who take the bus, however, reckless driving can pose a threat. It's been a point of frustration for District Transportation Director Jared Richmond.
I think people just don't want to wait a minute to wait on the school bus. You know, we've had ones that you can see as they go by, they're on their cell phones. Other people will, yell at us as they run through the stop sign. They just feel that they're entitled to go and they don't want to wait.
Missouri law states drivers need to come to a stop when approaching school buses with a stop sign and flashing lights. Luckily for the community, a tragedy has yet to occur, but Richmond knows it needs to stay this way.
We've never had a child injured due to this. There's been multiple close calls, but obviously, our concern is to get our kids to and from school every day safely, so we don't want there to be an incident.
Despite school being in session for just a few weeks, there have already been a reported 25 stop arm violations, and that's just including the ones that have been reported.
We have had multiple more that we couldn't get a license plate or something in order to turn over to law enforcement. So that's just what we've been able to investigate here.
As director, Richmond hopes he can help remind drivers a few more seconds of caution can help preserve lives.
You just want to tell drivers on the road that waiting behind a school bus for less than a minute to make a stop isn't worth taking someone's life.
In Carl Junction, Kenny Foreman, KOAM News.
Carl Junction has 34 route buses that roughly 2,000 students rely on, and Richmond says this is an ongoing issue throughout Jasper County and is not unique to Carl Junction. Well, the recent impeachment of Carl Junction's mayor creates legal turmoil for the city. A statement from the city's attorney indicates the city cannot yet move forward with appointing a new mayor due to former Mayor Mike Moss filing a petition for judicial review. The city's attorney also calls the special meeting scheduled for tomorrow night to fill the vacancy premature while the impeachment process is ongoing. However, the impeachment board will meet during tomorrow night's council meeting. This comes weeks after the former mayor challenged his removal. His attorney says the council acted wrongfully by removing the mayor without evidence of wrongdoing. This latest move halts the council's efforts to fill the mayor's seat. Without a legally recognized vacancy, the city will remain mayorless until the courts rule on Moss's challenge. Well, Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joins us now with the first look at weather.
Well, and it turned out to be kind of hot outside today, kind of like what we saw over the weekend, and 90s continuing at least over the next couple days. But we are going to have hit and miss showers and thunderstorms kind of through the week. Maybe it's some 80s, which would be better. Our average highs lower 80s later this week, but rain chances sticking around into the weekend. Had some scattered thunderstorms out there earlier. We lost the heating of the day, and these have pretty much died off, and that's what we're going to see as we go through the overnight hours tonight. Pretty calm. We'll drop back upper 60s. As we go through the morning into the early afternoon, some hit miss random guys once again as we go into Tuesday afternoon. Those will die down, then we do it again as we go into Wednesday afternoon. So we'll talk about those rain chances here in a bit.
All right, thanks, Doug. Authorities bring charges against a young Arkansas man in connection to a fatal weekend crash in southwest Missouri. The crash happened just after 4 p.m. Sunday afternoon on Missouri 43, just south of County Highway 0. Troopers say a vehicle struck another oncoming vehicle as it attempted to pass. A man and woman from Anderson, both 60 years old, died at the scene. Air and ground crews took several others for medical care to area hospitals. Now, troopers arrested this man, 18-year-old Lance Stockhauser of Siloam Springs, Arkansas, for DWI and the death of 2 or more people. He was transported to the McDonald County Jail. While foster parents are always in demand, officials in Jasper County find the need is even greater in the fall. According to CASA and the Jasper County Court, they receive more calls for help as students return to the classroom. CASA says Jasper County currently ranks 98th out of 113 countries for child welfare. Officials say the cause of this issue could range from abuse and neglect to educational neglect and more.
The state of Missouri has done a lot of prevention work in the last year, and so we're seeing that sometimes prevention doesn't always track or pan out for some of these cases, and that's what unfortunately brings kids into foster care.
Also an uptick because of school attendance and kids not being present. That can also maybe get Children's Division involved where they wouldn't be in the summertime.
CASA says they are always in need of volunteers. They recommend reaching out to them if you would like to help. Missouri American Water recognized an area trade school today with a check presentation. The utility company presented $15,000 to the Franklin Technology Center in Joplin, as well as Joplin school representatives. Missouri American presented the check on behalf of the American Water Charitable Foundation. FTC says the grant will be used for programs including auto technology, collision repair, HVAC, machine tools, CNA, and computer information systems programs. Missouri American says the grant serves as a way to help build a future workforce in the area.
What we're experiencing within our own industry is over the next 5 to 7 years, we're looking at losing between 25 and 40% of our own workforce. And a lot of those career fields focus on science and technology and a lot of similar things that Franklin Tech offers. So from that vantage point, we're just looking to build the labor pool up in those areas.
This year, the American Water Charitable Foundation awarded more than $750,000 through workforce readiness and STEM education grant programs. Well, coming up, the fighting intensifies.
Russian drones enter the airspace of a second NATO ally as fighting intensifies in eastern Ukraine. I'm Trey Yingst in Kyiv, Ukraine. I've got the details coming up.
But up first, a health alert for asthma patients as the incoming fall weather is expected to trigger flare-ups. Next Monday, September 22nd, marks the autumn equinox, or the official first day of fall, and doctors are warning people with asthma to have their emergency plans in place, citing how changes in the season can trigger asthma flare-ups. But health experts say many folks may already be feeling the impacts. Fox News' Sue Guzman reports.
The switch from summer to fall can trigger more than just an avalanche of pumpkin spice and sweaters, with medical experts warning folks with asthma to brace for possible flare-ups as the seasons change. And according to the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America, Asthma Peak Week is the 3rd week of September.
These are really sensitive times for people with asthma. We see increased emergency department visits, healthcare visits.
Asthma is a disease that causes someone's airways to become narrow, making it harder for them to breathe.
Asthma will flare up in season changing in large part because changes in temperature, humidity, and pollens will really affect airway inflammation that's the driver of asthma.
Besides an uptick in pollen from ragweed and mold under wet leaves, health professionals say the fall is also a time when cases of several respiratory viruses begin to jump.
The common cold virus and others that start to circulate in the fall. These are the most common causes of asthma flares. And with a return to school after the summer and September holidays, the increase in those viruses, increased stress, change in regimens, or missing medications can become common.
When it comes to bolstering protection,
the first is to make sure that you're taking all of your medications as prescribed, no matter how frequently you have symptoms of asthma.
Meanwhile, properly washing your hands and vaccinating against certain viruses can also provide other lines of defense.
That includes influenza, COVID-19, and if you're over the age of 60 and have asthma, you're eligible for vaccination against RSV, or respiratory syncytial virus.
Sue Guzman, Fox News.
Well, Doug is next with a complete look at your forecast, and later, bad news for retailers as holiday shoppers tighten their wallets.
60-plus bands. Perfect.
It turned out to be a pretty good Monday for us today. Still on the hot side. Temperatures back up into lower 90s for afternoon highs. Kind of like what we saw over the weekend. We're about almost 10 degrees above our average high for this time of the year. But we had some scattered little hit and miss showers out there. In fact, right across southwestern Missouri, those are pretty much falling apart. So there's not much going on now. Once we lost the heating of the day, they went kapoof and pretty much gone. This is all ground clutter, and it looks like it's going to be pretty calm as we go through the overnight hours. Let me walk you through time. We're going to stop Tuesday morning, 66, 67, 68 degrees. Not a bad start. Little sticky out there. Partly sunny skies by noon. We'll be into the mid 80s, and I think most of us about 90 once again tomorrow afternoon. Now, late afternoon into the evening, a few hit and miss storms once again. 10, 15, maybe 20% of us will get a little bit of rain. Anything that would fire off will be gone once we lose the heating of the day, very similar to today. We'll drop back mid 60s to kick off your Wednesday. Then as we go into Wednesday afternoon, guess what? We do it again. 1 or 2, maybe 3 or 4 hit and miss storms popping up again Wednesday afternoon. These will die down once we lose the heating of the day, and then a chance for thunderstorms right back in as we go into Thursday. So it's not a wall of rain. It's not super widespread, but it pops up every day. So hopefully, if we add all the days together this week, we'll get some widespread rain. 67 to start, 85 by noon. High temp, 90 degrees. Looks pretty good right now. Great shot of our Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex tower cam. We are looking downtown Joplin off toward the north and to the east. Still sitting mid to upper 70s, so it's warm. And if we go upstairs in the atmosphere, we're looking at about 18,000-ish feet, 500 millibars of pressure, little upper level wave. And that is what's been kind of firing this off. So let's watch it. Kind of sits out, very disorganized, but sits in the Central Plains all week long. Here's Thursday. Let's continue, kind of rotates east once we get into Saturday, and then another stronger storm system moves in by Sunday. We want to watch this. We're getting back into that time of the year that we go into another severe weather season as we get into the fall, and then we heat back up once we get to mid and late next week. So let's go into Thursday. Scattered thunderstorms, temperatures upper 80s to near 90 degrees. Heading into Friday, still some chances for scattered thunderstorms late in the day. So at least we got these chances as we go through the next several days. All right, let's go 90 on your Tuesday, 92 Wednesday, upper 80s. Once we get into Thursday and Friday, right back into the 90s again as we go into the weekend.
All right, well, still got those warm temperatures lingering.
Yeah, we got one more week of summer.
Yeah, it's Monday, at least only in the 80s on the first day of fall. All right, thanks, Doug. Well, coming up next, Americans plan to cut holiday spending for the first time since 2020. Retailers brace for a tough season as shoppers tighten their wallets.
Show opens Friday, September 26th. Joplin History and Mineral Museum.
Be a dad, raise some kids, have it free them.
A chilly warning for retailers drops ahead of the holiday shopping season. Fox Business correspondent Kelly Sabiri has the details.
Retailers could be looking at a lot of bah humbug this holiday season. A new survey says Americans are cutting back on their gift spending for the first time since 2020.
The average American, I mean, they're certainly spending less this holiday season, but that average amount is almost $1,500. So that's a lot of money.
PricewaterhouseCoopers' 2025 Holiday Outlook survey shows consumers expect their seasonal spending to decline on average by 5% from 2024, with Gen Zers cutting their holiday budgets by 23%.
A lot of them have started saving money up in the last couple of years, so they don't really have a ton of money saved.
More than half of Gen Zers have under $500 in emergency savings, according to a Cash App Afterpay commissioned report from late last year.
It makes complete sense that if you're going to have extra cash, even a little bit, you're going to spend it on this experiential presence or experiences that you want to take advantage of during the holiday season.
Retailers are switching gears to grab those precious dollars from teens and young adults who value experiences over products.
They are now having incorporations of experiences in the retail stores, not only to sell, but to get people excited to come into the stores and be involved in real life type of way.
Tariffs and the higher cost of living are expected to be felt widely this fall, as retailers' pre-tariff inventory is nearly depleted and higher costs are passed on to consumers.
You don't know where the tariffs are going to go, so I would say to everyone, just shop early.
PwC's survey shows 90% of shoppers concerned about tariffs say they're cutting back overall, versus 75% of everyone else. In Chicago, Kelly Saberi, Fox Business.
Now, a report says people receiving Social Security are likely to see raises after a cost of living adjustment. A report by the Senior Citizens League says folks receiving Social Security benefits will see those raises in what they receive because of cost of living adjustments. The report says the adjustments will likely go up about 2.7% when new announcements for 2026 come out next month. The average monthly benefit could rise $54 from 2008 to $2,062 monthly. The cost of living adjustments are determined from data including the Consumer Price Index and are meant to help seniors keep up with rising costs on daily expenses like groceries, housing, and medical care. Annual benefit increases have averaged about 2.6% over the last 20 years. Coming up next, the Missouri Department of Conservation is celebrating the monarch butterfly at the Shoal Creek Conservation Education Center. The Missouri Department of Conservation is celebrating one of our most important migrating insects this weekend. The Monarch Festival and Native Plant Sale is coming up this weekend at the Shoal Creek Conservation Education Center. The all-ages event includes education about the monarch butterfly. Now, the plant sale will focus on natives that help support migrating insects and birds as they journey south this fall.
The monarch butterfly is a really hot topic in all kinds of media, and knowing how this beautiful orange butterfly makes such an incredible migration is still a little bit of a mystery in some ways. Scientists have been doing some really cool studies, and they still haven't exactly figured out how monarchs that start in Mexico 4 generations later figure out how to get back to Mexico.
The Monarch Festival and Native Plant Sale runs from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. on Saturday. Again, that's at the Shoal Creek Conservation Education Center on Riviera Drive in Joplin. Well, if you're looking for more events like this right here in the 4 states but don't know where to turn, we've got you covered. This handy QR code will take you straight to the events page of our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Just scan it with your phone and you'll find information on all kinds of family fun events, including plenty of information on upcoming fairs. The event page at KOAMnewsnow.com. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports coming your way. President Trump prepares to travel to a tense Britain following weekend rally violence. And the fighting between Russia and Ukraine intensifies.
Cut party style. It's not crazy. It's Casey's.
You're watching the 4 states' most watched news.
This is KOAM News at 9. I'm Tanya Bach. Social media companies are feeling pressure after the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Fox News' Madison Allworth explains.
Social media companies are under scrutiny after graphic videos of Charlie Kirk's assassination continue to spread across platforms. And many of those videos are still out there. Psychologists say that the constant exposure to violence helps perpetuate political violence.
The mind's very impressionable. whatever we are exposed to over and over again, the subconscious mind processes as real, and it can desensitize material, and it could also influence anxiety.
So we reached out to every major social media network to see how they're handling these videos. Some are keeping them up with warnings, others taking them down. Let's start with Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram. They tell Fox Business they are marking videos of the shooting with a sensitive warning label and are age gating it to users 18 and over. Reddit is actively working to take down the video, telling us, quote, Reddit's site-wide rules prohibit encouraging, glorifying, inciting, or calling for violence. We're monitoring our platform to remove violating content, including graphic footage of the incident, and hashing to prevent its re-upload. YouTube is taking down some of the videos, but marking others with warnings and age restrictions. And TikTok telling Fox Business in part, quote, we remain committed to proactively enforcing our community guidelines and have implemented additional safeguards to prevent people from unexpectedly viewing footage that violates our rules. Not only is viewing the gruesome content dangerous for kids, but there's the unexpected nature of scrolling and it popping up in your feed.
It's almost like a bipolar effect, the high and low. And it's just not, it's not good for their emotional well-being at the moment or their emotional and psychological well-being as they move forward.
Despite these videos being horrific, there are concerns about the feasibility of stopping the spread in such a vast digital landscape. In New York, I'm Madison Allworth, Fox Business.
President Trump heads to the UK tomorrow for a high-stakes state visit aimed at reassuring weary European allies that the U.S. still has their back. Over the weekend, more than 100,000 people showed up at a rally by far-right activist Tommy Robinson. There were some clashes reported and at least 26 police officers injured as Robinson supporters descended on central London. And while President Trump's name was not mentioned by the organizers, many of his signature issues were front and center. The main focus of this visit is expected to be trade, though. Officials have already announced more than $10 billion worth of new deals expected to be signed, and we're also expecting extensive conversations on the war in Ukraine. Well, the threat from Russia is growing with more drone violations of NATO airspace and an ominous declaration from a Kremlin spokesperson. Fox News Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yingst has more from Kyiv.
French and Romanian jets patrolling the skies over Eastern Europe as more Russian drones are reported in NATO airspace. Over the weekend, Romania became the second country to report a violation by Russia, and now NATO is reinforcing defenses along its eastern flank with help from the U.S.
The United States stands by our NATO allies, and rest assured, we will defend every inch of NATO territory.
This new incident came less than a week after a significant number of Russian drones crossed into Polish airspace. Officials say they believe the goal wasn't to invade Poland, but rather to divide and distract NATO allies as Moscow pushes ahead with its offensive in Ukraine.
The goal of Russia to divide NATO, they didn't achieve this goal.
Meanwhile, Ukrainian drones hit a major Russian oil refinery on Sunday. President Volodymyr Zelensky said his forces will be targeting more of Russia's energy infrastructure. And he's urging the U.S. and NATO members to beef up sanctions against Moscow.
The most effective sanctions, the ones that will work the fastest, are the sanctions on Russia's oil refineries, its terminals, oil depots. Russia's war is essentially a function of oil.
But President Trump says he'll only agree to that if Europe stops buying Russian oil and gas.
They're my friends, but they're buying oil from Russia. So we can't be expected to be the only ones that are, full bore.
A spokesperson for Russian President Vladimir Putin said Monday NATO is now, quote, at war with Russia. In Kyiv, Trey Yingst, Fox News.
Well, Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast, and later, the clock is ticking on TikTok.
With the deadline quickly approaching, the future of TikTok is uncertain. We'll speak with 3 local businesses and we'll ask them what they plan to do if a deal is not reached in time. I'm Ty Parks, and we'll have that story.
I have a Center for the Arts.
Well, it turned out to be kind of hot outside for us on this Monday. Temperatures, they were up there into lower 90s once again. We had some hit and miss pop-up storms during the afternoon. Not a huge deal, but they were out there. So some areas got at least some stronger storms in southwestern Missouri, but now we've lost the heating of the day, meaning the sun is set and all the thunderstorms have pretty much gone poof. There may be one or two random sprinkles out there, but in general, it looks pretty quiet as we go through the rest of the overnight hours, but these are going to pop up again as we go into Tuesday. Let's go into Tuesday morning. We're going to start 67, 68-ish degrees. As we go through the morning, quick warm up, mid-80s by noon. Let me take you to the afternoon. Here's 4 p.m. At this point in time, we'll start to get hit and miss isolated thunderstorms again. 80 to 90% of us will end up staying dry, but they are going to be out there just kind of like we had today. Let's continue. Tuesday night, anything that would develop will dissipate as we get into Wednesday morning. As we go through the day on Wednesday, we do it again. Pop up hit and miss storms across the region, only covering about 20% of the viewing area. So hopefully we can get it in different spots tomorrow and different spots on Wednesday than what we saw today. Showers and thunderstorms die off Wednesday night, and then we get a batch that tries to work in as we get into Thursday morning. All right, day planner 67 to start, 85 by noon. High temp of 90 on your Tuesday. Great shot, Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex. We're looking at downtown Joplin, off toward the north and to the east. Temperatures, they're warm. We're going to drop back 67-ish, but still 76, 77, 78 degrees across the region. All right, so those pop-up thunderstorms next couple days, it's all due to this upper level wave. Very weak, right on top of us, but watch it. So let's go through Tuesday, Wednesday, into Thursday. It kind of sits right on top of us. Very weak, very disorganized, but organized enough to give us some hit-and-miss storms. It starts to rotate out Friday and Saturday, but look at this, a stronger system dips in. With this setup, this may give us some widespread thunderstorms. Remember, we're kind of moving back into a little severe weather season, which we see in the fall. All right, hit and miss storms again Thursday afternoon, mid to upper 80s. Friday, still some hit and miss storms, especially in the morning. And then all that junk will move out, and then here comes that stronger system moving in. So most likely Saturday, not too much going on still into lower 90s. Rain chances increasing again as we get into Sunday afternoon and also Sunday evening. So, of course, we're going to keep our eyes on that. All right, let's go 90 tomorrow, 92 Wednesday, upper 80s Thursday and Friday, but staying hot this week.
All right, well, I wish we wouldn't be hot for any longer, honestly. I'm ready for that cool down. My AC is ready to take a break. I'm sure yours is too.
Yeah.
Maybe the rain will help. All right, thanks, Doug. Well, no, they're not filming a sequel to the Barbie movie in Santa Monica this month, but it's about to look like it. Those who want to see a unique view of an iconic Southern California locale can do so on various days this month as researchers perform an experiment that will turn the water around the pier pink. Researchers from the UCLA Samueli School of Engineering along with the Bay Foundation are using pink dye to study the water quality in the area. Other experiments will be run through September 30th, weather permitting. Still ahead, Fort Scott High School football looks to bounce back after its 0-2 starts. And after having a few hiccups on the field to start the year, we'll see how the Tigers are looking to pull together a winning season with a team of talented but young players.
Opens Friday.
Fort Scott High School football is off to a rough 0-2 start, but the Tigers remain optimistic they can turn their season around. Many of the hiccups we've seen thus far from Fort Scott can be explained by inexperience. This year's Tigers team is full of talented but young players. They'll rely on leadership from the senior class, leaning on players like All-State running back and linebacker Ryder Newton.
This year, I think we have a strong senior class. They've done a good job of buying in and working hard. They've done a good job of leading the team on and off the field. We've got some young talent as well, so we're inexperienced right now, but that doesn't mean we don't have talent. I think we're going to be just fine if we learn how to play hard, play the right way, and play together as a team. You know, I'd say it probably starts with our captain. So Ryder Newton's a starting running back and starting linebacker. Last year he was an all-league and all-state linebacker. He's a great player for us. I'd say he's our leader on and off the field.
Head coach Jonathan Stark believes his team needs to work on the fundamentals, win the turnover battle, and play mistake-free football, and the rest will take care of itself. The Tigers took a big step in the right direction in week 2, narrowly losing to Parsons 25-22, but there's more work to be done in Fort Scott.
Yeah, I want us to play winning football. So, you know, to me, winning football, we got to take care of turnovers. We can't lose the turnover battle. So we need to take care of the ball offensively, and we need to force turnovers defensively. We got to do our job the best that we can, and if the other team's better than us, you know, so be it. It's okay if we lose that way. It's not okay if we lose because we have tons of mental errors or we're not executing and doing things that we can control. So that's my expectation and goal for the year, is just that's the way we practice. And if we practice that way, that's going to be the way that we play. And I think if we do that, we can be competitive. And if we can be competitive, we can find a way to win.
The Tigers continue their season with another home matchup this Friday against the 1-1 Independence Bulldogs. Well, every Friday night during Press Box, we ask our viewers to vote on who they think dominated on the field. And this week, we voted the Galena Bulldogs as the Performance of the Week winner. On Friday, the Bulldogs took on the Columbus Titans at home, winning the game 20-13. You can cast your vote every weekend on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com/pigskin. We're back with more news after this. 2 days before a ban on TikTok is set to kick in, U.S. officials say they've made a deal. A U.S. ban on the app owned by Chinese company ByteDance was set to kick in Wednesday over national security concerns. But American negotiators said today that China has agreed to a sale. Congress passed a law last year saying ByteDance had to sell the app or lose its estimated 170 million users in America. The sale still has to be finalized by President Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping, who have a phone call scheduled for Friday. The two world powers are also planning for a possible summit between Trump and Xi, but no dates or details have been confirmed. Meanwhile, many people use the popular TikTok app for everything from social fun to marketing a business. KOAM's Ty Park spoke with 3 businesses that use TikTok and found out how their plans could change should the app go dark.
TikTok is uncertain. The current deadline is September 17th. Joplin Chamber of Commerce tells KOAM that they use the app to attract younger audiences.
Using TikTok has been really helpful for us to educate and make people aware of the amazing things that Joplin has to offer as far as quality of life, and it allows us to reach a different audience.
Choose Joplin page allows the chamber to reach an audience that would otherwise be untouched.
If the app does go dark, I would say probably naturally people will start shifting to other platforms. We do have a strong presence on Facebook and Instagram. I would say right now we don't do a lot on YouTube Shorts, so that may be something we would look into.
IC story is titled, "Am I the Astronaut for Admitting to Something?"
Another business that has seen growth due to TikTok is Dusty Thunder with Storm Cloud Marketing, who has seen recent TikTok fame.
Like, we're at the mercy of all these different content platforms. We're at the mercy of legislation. We're at the mercy of a lot of different things. So we have to adapt quickly no matter what. I think one of the most important things that we have to do as content creators is diversify.
One small business that has seen an increase in sales due to TikTok is Front Page on Main Street in Joplin.
A lot of our advertising, so we do daily things on Facebook actually, and everything goes to TikTok at that point so that we can hopefully increase our outreach and reach people that are not aware of this local gym. The thing about a small business like us, we just have to roll with the punches. So I'm just telling you, if something happens there, we will pick up something else and make that work for us. So hopefully everything just keeps going like it is right now, but I know that we can make it work one way or the other.
Each business we spoke to today is hopeful the app will stay, but is ready to switch gears if it goes dark. In Joplin, Ty Parks, KOAM News.
Up next, there were winners and losers as the red carpet rolled out for the annual Emmy Awards held this weekend in Los Angeles. We take a look back at the fun before the show. Before the stars went into the 2025 Emmy Awards to find out who would get TV's top honor, we caught up with them on the red carpet at the Peacock Theater in downtown Los Angeles. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
I'm Ashley Dvorkin at the Emmy Awards in Los Angeles, talking to the stars about their top TV moments, favorite fan feedback, and more. The Pit's Noah Wiley, who won Best Lead Actor in a Drama Series, shared they're already filming the next season.
I can understand the anticipation. I'm excited to see it too, but right now we're in the middle of making season 2. We just hit the halfway point. It's going really well. Fingers crossed.
Ashley Walters of Adolescence is proud of how their show has resonated.
I feel like it's helped people as well. You know, parents around the world were struggling to have a very serious conversation with their kids about their use of the internet, how they use it, and how they protect themselves.
They were very impressed with their now Emmy-winning young star, Owen Cooper.
It was his first job, we all knew that, and he schooled a lot of us, to be fair. Just the fearlessness.
Deidre O'Connell talked about how the Penguin brought something new to Gotham.
They had held on to that feeling of it being like very lived-in kind of movie that was utterly different, and yet it's still operatic.
Hacks co-creator Paul W. Downs shared he's always known where their story ends up.
We knew the last scene of the last episode when we pitched it, and so it has been very helpful for us to build to that.
Cast members of What We Do in the Shadows reflected on their final day on set.
It was my 50th birthday.
There wouldn't be a day where we wouldn't laugh very hard, usually at ourselves.
They also reflected on mementos they took home.
I took loads of stuff. I took the carpet, the rug that's in the foyer. That's like now in London.
I took the Colin Robinson formal suit home. So, no, never.
From the 77th Emmy Awards here in Los Angeles, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thank you for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of a yellow-backed duiker munching on a crunchy leaf at the San Antonio Zoo. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.